It's time for
DodgerHeads.
high fly ball into right field. Dodgers have won it all in 2020. Shohei Ohtani, 50-50 club. Strikes him out. There's a drive. Shohei Ohtani. Freeman hits the ball. She is gone. Birthday party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into DodgerHeads Live, presented by DodgerBlue.com, part of the Medium Large Sports Network. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined tonight by Matthew Moreno, filling in for Bruce Kuntz, here to break down the latest Dodgers rumors, the latest news about the rosters, all sorts of good stuff. Let me start by giving a shout out to one of our partners, Homage, Homage, hooked it up. Their World Series gear just came out. I'll tilt a little bit. This week, now that the exclusive window is over, so head over to Homage. I say it every time. These are the most comfortable sweatshirts that I own every single time. So they've got World Series, they've got a sweatshirt, they've got kind of a Grateful Dead themed t-shirt as well. So good stuff. There you can check out a link down below. Shout out to our partners at Homage. Matt, happy Tuesday evening to you, sir. Physically, are we finally back to full strength over there?
I think so. Yet it was still sort of lingering a little bit as of yesterday. I think today I might be symptom free, so that's certainly encouraging. For the most part, I have felt fine. I mean, when I was on with you guys, I forgot what day it was at this point. I was already feeling okay, so definitely a little bit better here. So that's obviously nice to finally be past the Canadian cold that I got saddled with as punishment for the Dodgers going up to Toronto and winning game 6 and 7.
Yeah, it's 6 and 7. Nice. It's also, by the way, worth pointing out that Matthew and I are going to try our hardest to play nice. It is USC versus Oregon this week. USC traveling to Eugene. I will be in Eugene as well for this one. I believe I talked to you. I can't believe that the Ducks are 10-point favorites. That's way too big of a number. And so I hope the Ducks win. But are you feeling confident about this game?
I mean, I always think SC can beat anybody, whether it's, perception or disillusion, if you will. So I think that they're capable of doing it behind, some electric offense that they have. That being said, like when we were texting about it, I said, like the defense kind of like they're terrible and then they're good and then they could be terrible again. So, I mean, I don't bet, but if I needed to bet, no, I would not bet on SC winning the game. But I think that they have a chance to do so.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Stay tuned on Saturday. Lots to get into today. Kyle Tucker, Cody Bellinger, some fresh rumors we'll get to here in just a moment. I want to talk about Miguel Rojas and Kike Hernandez. I think the assumption is that these guys are definitely coming back, and I guess maybe we should just have the conversation. Are we sure the reunions are in the cards? Some encouraging news about Gavin Stone and River Ryan, two of the best young pitchers the Dodgers have, both trying to return from injury, as well as some Rule 5 draft news that came out today as well. We got a couple super chats here from Baseball Geek 79. He starts us off. In the last series of 2025 against Lake Erie, I witnessed Josue DePaula. As with Cartaya, can't hit breaking balls. 0 for 14 in Double-A. His value is high. Trade now. Baseball Geek, let's not put the Cartaya stink on him yet. I think we've got a little more time with DePaul. There seem to be a lot of people excited about him, but who knows? They might be trading some of these outfielders. They've got a lot of them. That's for sure. He also says, is Bellinger really an option given the acrimonious departure? Tucker is too expensive. Either means that the Dodgers would need to trade one of their 6 outfield prospects. Well, it's a perfect fit, Baseball Geek. You want DePaula gone, they might need to trade one of them. Let's talk Kyle Tucker and Cody Bellinger, though, Matt, because there have been some rumors from Jeff Passan of ESPN this past week that caught my eye. We'll start with Kyle Tucker. Passan said this: though Tucker makes sense for an LA Dodgers team in need of a productive outfield bat, sources said their interest is more likely to be on a high-dollar, shorter-term deal. Matt, this is a guy who we talked about this last week. How interested are you in Kyle Tucker if the Dodgers are able to somehow get their wish And let's say it's a short-term deal. It's not the 10 to 12, $400 million, 10 to 12 year, $400 million deal. Let's say it's 4 years and $210 million, something like that. Like, are you interested in Kyle Tucker at that number?
Yeah, I think that that's fine for me. Like if that's something Kyle Tucker will go for, and the Dodgers are there to do it, then great. This is the playbook they tried with Bryce Harper
Yep.
a handful of years ago, and he wasn't interested. He wanted not only a long-term deal, but basically fully locked in without any opt-outs and stuff. Much to the chagrin of Scott Boras. And I think we do need to note that there has not been any indication one way or the other that Kyle Tucker is even open to this possibility or fully against it. So, take it kind of with a grain of salt for now. I'm inclined to believe he won't go the short-term route just because we haven't really seen it, right? And but that being said, if he is open to it and the Dodgers are able to get something done, 4 years, maybe 5 years, even like 5 years would probably, I would think, would be the extent. There probably, I'm sure, would be opt-outs built into that too, right? Like maybe after the second or third year. Like, sure, I think go for it at that point.
Yeah, I mean, like 5 years, $250 million. That's the thing, right? Because the projections all have him getting like 38, 39 million. But if you're going to try and get him for 4 or 5 years, you're going to have to go way, way, way above the 38 million. So that's why I'm like, is the 4 for 220? Like, is it 5 for 260? I mean, these are crazy numbers for a guy who turns 29, but in an outfield market that is, I would say, not overwhelmingly strong outside of Kyle Tucker. It's a really fascinating conversation. We talked a little bit about him. For people unfamiliar with Kyle Tucker, 4+ wins above replacement, according to Fangraphs, for each of the last 5 years. Above average defensively in the corner outfielders, but does not play center field. The underlying metrics really good. 98th percentile chase rate, 85th percentile strikeout rate, 96th percentile walk rate. So the profile of a guy who walks, who doesn't strike out, who doesn't swing and miss a ton is there. The argument against is he's really good at a lot of things. He's not elite at any. Somebody had the stat, has never hit 30 home runs or 300 batting average, doesn't play center field, coming off his worst offensive season. So to me, it's like, I want to get really excited about Kyle Tucker, I think, because he seems to be the perfect fit for what the Dodgers need, which is an outfielder who's very, very good. I guess there's just a little something missing for me, Matt. And to your point, sure, 4 years, it's pretty much no such thing as a bad 4-year deal for a guy like Kyle Tucker. But I don't know. There's just something missing with Kyle Tucker that doesn't get me as excited as I think I should be for somebody that's going to get paid as much as he is.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, he, in terms of his offensive production this year, he dealt with the hand fracture, I think it was, right? Like there was an injury that he, I think, played through, and the Cubs didn't like fully disclose initially. And then,
which is part of it too, has missed 110 games, I believe, over the last 2 years as well.
Yeah. So impacted by that, at least, if you want to look at his offensive production or lack thereof, as you were pointing out for this past season, I do agree. I mean, he's like, watching him from afar, he's been somebody that struck me as, he's very good, like solid, like high quality type thing, but definitely not jumping off the screen to me, at least. And it sounds like to you as well, as like, a superstar and, getting this mega contract of 400, 500 million, whatever it potentially ends up being. And yeah, that's what, SK is saying. Tucker wants superstar money, but not a superstar. Like, I think that's a little bit fair.
Has one finish in the MVP voting, has finished inside of the top 14 just one time in his career. That was in 2023. Did not get a single MVP vote in either 2024 or 2025, for what it's worth. So that's the other piece here. Like, it's a 5-year run for him that has been nice, but that kind of sums it up, right? Like, at no point in the last 3 years has he been one of the top 15 players in Major League Baseball. Excuse me. One time in the last 5 years, he has been a top 15 player in all of Major League in his league, right? And this guy's gonna get $400 million like at 29. It's not like you're projecting him to get better. You're kind of hoping what you've seen over the last few years sustains for the next 4 or 5.
Yeah, and again, like that's why, and frankly, I don't think the Dodgers are really going to end up being in on Kyle Tucker if it's going to take the long term, 400, 425, whatever, 500 potentially million type deal. And and I wouldn't fully blame them. And it honestly seems like, a lot of the people who are regulars that we have in here with us tonight and that have joined, even, them plus others that have joined our shows over the past, week, 10, I guess, however long it's been, a couple of weeks since the World Series ended. And we've kind of shifted our focus to the offseason and things of that nature. Like Kyle Tucker is not somebody that people seem particularly high on. And so to your point, like there is definitely at the very least a narrative or a perception of him that he is very good at a lot of things, but not necessarily, the best at this or that and type thing. And again, like nothing wrong. Like he's a good player. He's a very good player. But like we keep circling back to, is he 400 plus million type? Like, I don't necessarily think so. Not when you're the Dodgers and you have kind of some of their, not that they're limited, but they do, like at some point, like the money does start to add up and you need to spend a little bit more judiciously than maybe you did over the last couple of years. And certainly, look, Kyle, like, I don't think I'm not going to get accused of sharing a hot take. He's not Shohei Ohtani, where like you make this huge exception. He's not Yoshinobu Yamamoto, where you make this exception and, hand him the richest contract for a pitcher in MLB history. So, does it make sense to go and spend, again, that much money? Like, I don't necessarily think so. Now, if he wants to come, sign a 4-year, 5-year deal with an opt-out after 2 or 3 years, then sure, like do that. Hopefully, if you're the Dodgers, you hope you win another World Series in the next year or two with Kyle Tucker. And then if he opts out, you reevaluate at that point. If it's, hey, you helped us get this championship, but now we're definitely not interested as you've gotten older and, this long-term deal, then, you go your separate ways at that point. But again, like I don't want to speak for Kyle Tucker. That would be completely inappropriate of me and us to do so, but there has not been any indication that he's even open or considering something along these lines. Right. And I don't think we'll get there unless for whatever reason, every team draws a line in the sand and says, well, actually we're out on the long-term, Kyle Tucker business. Cause as long as there's one deal out there for him, that's kind of sets the market. And that's where is he represented by Boris?
I
didn't mean to put you on the spot. If it is Scott Boras, regardless of whether it's Scott Boras or not, if his agent comes back, can come back to interested teams and say, look, we have this offer for X amount of years, then that sets the bar.
Casey Close.
Okay.
That's Clayton Kershaw's agent.
Yeah, that's Excel.
Yeah. So that's that's what we got. So some people have said Tucker's agent has ties to Los Angeles. He has ties to lots of places. I see some people in the chat mentioning the Giants. If Kyle Tucker signed a $400 million deal with the Giants, would that move the needle for you at all? Like, would you be happy that they signed that contract? Would you just like shrug, doesn't care? Or would there be a party that's like, dang it, I don't want that?
I would not care. Like, I don't think it would become, I don't think he's going to be like a significant albatross type thing. Right. Yeah. So it wouldn't be, when we've seen some other kind of, he's not even aging, but some, potentially aging stars or close to aging definitely on the wrong side of 30 sign these long-term deals. And you look at it and it's like, man, like that's not going to go well for a long time. He would help them. I know his name is escaping me right now. The new Giants manager that they hired from University of Tennessee,
Tony something.
Yeah,
Tony Vitello.
Yeah, he was it MLB Network, or he did some sort of interview alluding to the fact that, the Giants, they respect the Dodgers, but they're not scared. And look, it wasn't anything that you don't expect him to say, right? A manager's not going to come out and say, yeah, we can't compete with, well, maybe some managers would, but most managers you would hope won't come out and say, yeah, we can't compete with, this team or that team and the other. But he did say something to the effect of, hey, they're here to kind of do what they can against the Dodgers, and Kyle Tucker would be a boost for them. Like he's a very good player. And I can't, you and I, if the Dodgers signed Kyle Tucker, even to 10 years, like, sure, maybe we would say
you'd get a
surprising, right? Like it's surprising, right? But we wouldn't sit here and say, what are the Dodgers doing? This is a terrible addition, this, that, and the other. So that applies to the Giants. Now, do I think that would make the Giants all of a sudden NL West favorites? Obviously not.
Yeah, I can't help but think of Chris Bryant, who went to the Colorado Rockies. Chris Bryant's first year with the Rockies was his age 30 season, so 1 year older than Kyle Tucker will be in his first season on his next team. And Chris Bryant had not been as consistent as Kyle Tucker, but his high points had been better than Kyle Tucker's high points had been. He also had a terrible 2020 mixed into the middle, so take that for what it's worth. But man, Chris Bryant, I'm not saying Kyle Tucker is Chris Bryant. I'm just saying guys at this age have signed contracts that holy smokes, is that was 7 years, 182 is what he got. So again, a lot less than Kyle Tucker is going to be making, but not great.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're unless you're Chris Bryant, it's great if you're Chris Bryant.
Well, now you need to let me remind the people of my favorite Chris Bryant story, and I know I've shared it with you. I've shared it on our shows. I'll never forget, because the Dodgers, I think, were loosely kind of connected. I think, if I remember correctly, to Chris Bryant. There's, I think, some speculation that maybe he would play left field for them, type thing. I forgot the particulars. So I'm watching his introductory press conference after he signs this deal with the Rockies, and he says, I've never missed the playoffs in my entire career, and I don't plan on that streak ending, or something to that effect. I don't have the exact quote. And I remember thinking, man, good for you. Like, I get it from a, competitive, like an athlete standpoint. That's the mindset you're going to have. But I also thought, do you realize what team you just signed with? And unfortunately, Chris Bryant's playoff streak was snapped. And I don't think it's been, the word is escaping, but it has not started again.
Yeah. Here's the full quote, I believe. I take a lot of pride in the fact that I've never played on a losing team in the big leagues, and I don't plan on doing that now.
That's right. Okay, so I had it wrong. So he didn't say playoffs, but yes, losing.
I mean, you captured the essence of it.
Yeah, losing team. Yeah, that was a fun press conference.
Yeah, I love that, the AI. It should be noted, Bryant played on teams that missed the playoffs, such as the 2018, 2019, and 2020 Cubs teams, which were not, quote, losing teams in terms of having a sub 500 record, but all still missed the postseason. Since joining the Rockies, the team has had losing records and has missed the playoffs. So shout out to AI for filling us in. If not Kyle Tucker, another. Oh, go ahead.
We're not going to give AI credit there, but
that's true.
The facts. Let's move on. No AI love here.
The second piece here is Cody Bellinger. Jeff Passan says the Dodgers, who non-tendered Bellinger's 3 years ago, have expressed interest as they peruse the outfield market. 31-year-old, or excuse me, he's 30 years old. He will be 31 in July of next season. Might be able to still play center field. Was not asked to as a member of the Yankees. Matt, we went over his pros and cons. Postseason performer, really good defensively in the corner last year. Probably could hang in center field, you would think, for a couple of years, just athletically. The downside, his outside of Yankee Stadium offensive stats last year are terrifying. And when a left-handed hitter has a 715 OPS outside of Yankee Stadium, you should pay attention to that. Plus, it's a roller coaster. Last 5 seasons, 2 good ones, above 4 wins above replacement, 3 seasons of 2.1 or less. The underlying stuff is terrifying. 24th percentile exit velocity, 26th percentile hard hit rate, etc., etc. I am not interested in being in the Cody Bellinger business. I love him. I've said it, and I will say it a million times more. The 2020 NLCS Game 7 home run he hit was the biggest moment of sports moment in my life up until that point. It was the biggest swing in all of 2020. You could make a case the biggest moment of the World Series run that the Dodgers had. So I will forever love Cody Bellinger. He's got a bobblehead that is proudly displayed on my case here. I am not interested in 2026, 2027, 2028 Cody Bellinger, Matt.
Yeah, for Bellinger's case is interesting from the standpoint of, however, like, you could kind of cherry pick certain stats and make him look like, he's on kind of the upswing. Sure. Like you alluded to the last 5 years. If you shorten it to since he's left the Dodgers, like, it looks a little bit better, right? Like, he's kind of improved in some areas. The one area that he's not, that has still been consistent and subpar for him, unfortunately, is the hard hit rate that you mentioned. Yeah. Like, he's just not hitting the ball hard, which when he was a rookie, when he was winning MVP, like, he was smoking the ball pretty much every single at bat. I am with you. Like, so Bellinger's case is interesting because I do think that he's probably is, well, prior to today with all the, let me backpedal a little bit, so I apologize.
I was going to say, you're a Cody Bellinger guy. You're really going to be out on your boy Bellinger this quickly?
It's not that I'm out, but prior to today, as we're recording this Tuesday night, the qualifying offer decisions, like, those were a little, like, 4 players accepted, and it's the most in one offseason, this, that, and the other. Trent Grisham was among them. He's going back to the Yankees. Like, that leads me to, like, did they get a sense that there's not necessarily going to be teams spending the way the last couple of weeks we've been hearing rumblings of, the Pirates are ready to be aggressive and all these other teams want to spend some money? So if they are, and Bellinger's price, kind of, I don't want to say skyrockets, but it gets to the point of 5 years, 6 years, some of the projections out there.
Yeah.
I agree. Like I would be reluctant if I were the Dodgers at that point. If he's 2 year, if not, probably not 2, if he's 3 years, 4 years at the right number, I could be talked into it. Like, I think he brings, you would have to, it would also then be a matter of what your expectations are for Cody Bellinger. If you're anticipating him to be the MVP player that he was before he got injured, and that, like, that's not fair, because I don't know if he's that player anymore.
Yeah.
If you want versatility, some defense, like, I think you'll get that.
5 for 140 and 7 for 182 are the two.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can't do that. Like, that's crazy.
Crazy.
I hope he look for Belt, like you 100%. Said, when he was here, like his played first base, played center field. He was great to cut. Like, he's provided us with a lot of entertainment, both on the field and through his post game interviews and quotes and stuff. So I wish nothing but the best for Cody. But yeah, if that's what it ends up being, like, I don't think that the Dodgers should be in that market either.
Yeah. Looking at some of the contracts that Cody Bellinger has signed, became a free agent 2023. The hope was that he would make some money there. Signed a 1 year, $17.5 million contract that year. Goes back into free agency the next year in 2024. He signed a 3-year, $80 million deal that had an opt-out heading into the third and final year, which he exercised. So I joked with you beforehand. Every time he hits free agency, everybody talks about how he's going to get paid. And then every time it ends up coming in way below for him particularly. And I don't know why that is, because obviously he can play the outfield. He's a really good defensive player. I think maybe it's just the consistency and the kind of, like, you don't know what you're buying. To your point, you can make these numbers say good things. You can make these numbers say bad things. But man, oh man, like, given the options the Dodgers have, if it's more than a 2-year deal for Cody Bellinger, I just am not that interested. And even if it's 2 years for $50 million, like, maybe you can talk me into it. But, like, there's a real chance he's not very good offensively anymore. And I know he put up the numbers, but when lefties mash in Yankee Stadium with the short porch right there, and with Aaron Judge in the lineup and the whole deal, and then they hit 715 as an OPS outside of that, that's like, that is the biggest red flag of all red flags for a guy that we kind of have to project a little bit that he can still play center field. So again, if it's a 2-year deal, like, maybe. And obviously Cody Bellinger is a better option than, like, Alex Call and Ryan Ward and the internal guys they have. I'm not arguing that, but it just feels like there are enough other external options that they can go get via trade that I think, like I even said, I'm not a big Steven Kwan guy personally, but I would rather trade for Steven Kwan, I think, than sign Cody Bellinger to a 5-year deal. Would you?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I would take, like, I would take my, even with some of the concerns that Kwan has. I mean, look, and I know I assume you're factoring this in. Like, it's not like a massive overpay for Kwan in terms of prospect capital either, right? Yeah. Like, sure, maybe you give up a little bit more than you would prefer in an ideal world. But yeah, I do agree. Like, like anything long term with Bellinger, like, I don't think that it makes a ton of sense. And yeah, Kwan could be interesting. And also, even if it is, maybe 3, like, I'm probably more open to a 3, perhaps 4-year deal than it appears you are. That being said, it still can't necessarily get to a significant dollar amount. Like, I know we're not focusing on this, but, like, the Dodgers do need to address their bullpen. And it doesn't mean they have to go and spend, significantly on a big time closer, which I don't think they're going to do anyway, but there is money that needs to get spent there. And so that is part of, I think, the calculations that they're making, is not that they have, like, X amount in the pot, but sort of, right? Like, I'm sure they have a rough idea of how much they would ideally want to spend in free agency. And it's a matter of, filling out the needs and assembling a roster as best as they can, rather than, maybe find, as much as they do say, like, they do like to just kind of go after the top talent and figure out the rest later. And Bellinger does offer versatility to help that, but also he's not, and again, like, no disrespect to him, like, he's not the top talent like, he's not the MVP candidate he once was.
Yeah. Phil asking the important questions here. How can you say Bellinger's home run in the NLCS was the most important moment from the 2020 World Series win, but have Ohtani's game in the NLCS ranked so low? I think it's a fair question. I would just say in 2020, they won in 6 games. if I had to, if you had to pick one, Matt, give me the most iconic moment that you remember from the 2020 World Series, just the World Series itself.
I mean, it's obviously Austin Barnes
I knew you were gonna say this.
knocking out. No, so let's see. Just the World Series.
Like, my point is there weren't any, like,
Yeah, I was
screamingly obvious iconic moments.
okay. Yeah, good. I was hoping that I wasn't missing anything. I
No.
was gonna say I don't think like the World Series does. I mean, because it was annoying. What's his name? Brett Phillips.
Oh,
You know,
God,
running
yeah.
doing the airplane thing, and then you and Daniel having to hop on and do a live show as he's still circling the infield dirt celebrating. I see Adam 818 saying Mookie's catch. That was in that he did those in the
He had a couple,
NLCS.
but I don't
But
think either of them were in the World Series.
I'm pretty sure they were both in the NLCS. Yeah, I mean, I don't, and I think to answer Phil's question, I feel like the way he worded this also and how you worded it are two different things, right? Because that ranking that you guys did was the top moments from this postseason.
Yeah, and my point was just if something happens in a game, if an iconic moment happens in the World Series, it's going to take precedence over an iconic moment in the NLCS. And if it happens in Game 7, then gets even hyped up even more. So that was my whole point. I had a lot of iconic World Series moments ahead of an NLCS moment this time around. But for Bellinger, the home run he hit in Game 7 of the NLCS, to me, it was the most memorable moment of that run. So
Here, Cole has a good one.
there you go.
This is a good one. I'd forgotten about the Game 1. I believe it was in Game 1, right? Or
I have the
Game
worst
2.
memory on this.
I forgot what game Kershaw started. But yeah,
Shout out
that's
Max
a good one.
Muncy. Max Muncy for giving Kershaw the nod, telling him to get the guy going home. And Kershaw, I mean, I still in that moment, not to relive this, but to have the patience and the calm to be able to not balk to get him out is crazy. So shout out to my guy Clayton Kershaw. No step off rule back in 2020. You could step off as many times as you wanted. So where are you at, Matt? Because the other thing that I wanted to mention, Fabian Ardaya came on our show, did an hour live with us on Sunday. He was awesome. The moment that I thought was most interesting was he got asked by one of our people, are the Dodgers going to be more active in the trade market or free agency? And he seemed to say trade real quick. Like it wasn't like, oh, I don't know, kind of both, but he was like trade market. So where are you at on the outfielders that are available for trade? Byron Buxton is a new name that's in the mix, maybe, depending on who you believe. Fabian didn't seem to think that was like incredibly likely if I'm reading between the lines on his response. Steven Kwan is a guy they've been interested in for a long time, and yet everybody that I talk to is like the second thing out of their mouth after they say the Dodgers really wanted Kwan last trade deadline is the Guardians are an absolute disaster to deal with. Somebody I talked to put it as in like, basically you ask them for something, they ask you for something, you say yes, and then they ask you for more things, and then you say yes, and then they ask you for more things after that. That's the Guardians description I've been given. So Kwan still feels like the most likely. He's the only name that I feel like has been mentioned as like the Dodgers definitely like this guy. Brendan Donovan, another name that's in the mix. Jarren Duran, a name. Like, where are you at on the outfield solution being out there?
I do think that they probably, well, I think to answer, like, I felt like this started off as sort of two different questions.
Yes.
With Fabian saying, trades more so than free agency, I do think if it comes to like impact type player, that player is more likely to be acquired via trade than the Dodgers go and spend in free agency.
Yeah.
With the outfield, though, I mean, I guess I still probably lean a little bit more towards trade than free agency, just because, like we were saying, we don't anticipate them spending big on Kyle Tucker. Like, I feel like if they were seriously involved in that and we're going to potentially do it, like we would be getting more smoke from these national reporters. Whereas now it's kind of been like, oh, general managers think the Dodgers make sense. And it's like, well, yeah, they have the money. They have Dodgers make sense for everybody, basically.
Yep.
So with outfield, I will lean more towards a trade still being more likely again, because now if Bellinger, somehow can be had at like a 2-year deal, 3-year deal, and I think the Dodgers would jump on that probably in a heartbeat.
Interesting Major League Baseball trade that just came through, not involving the Dodgers, so don't panic here. Grayson Rodriguez traded from the Orioles to the Angels in exchange for Taylor Ward, outfielder. Not that the Angels were ever going to deal with the Dodgers, but they solve a little bit of their outfielder issues there. So yeah, interesting trade, unrelated to the Dodgers. But of the trade candidates in the outfield, Matt, given the cost and what they would be, like, is there one of those guys you like the best? Duran, Kwan, Buxton, Brendan Donovan?
Brendan Donovan, I'm not throwing in that group just because to me, he's somebody who can play the outfield and not like is an outfielder.
Yeah.
And I think the
He's kind
Dodgers,
of like, I mean, he's Tom. He literally is Tommy Edman 2.0, where like he very well might be an everyday outfielder,
fair,
but part of his value is the versatility.
fair. I think I'm torn between Buxton and Kwan. Buxton, I think, would be probably the better get, but you have some health concerns there, right? Like he's dealt with injuries throughout.
He's the Tyler Glass now of position players.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, if you frame it that way and Buxton shows up in the playoffs, then like that's all that matters to the Dodgers at this point, right? Like if they keep Ryan Ward and Byron Buxton gets hurt, they'll let Ryan Ward start 100 and some odd games during the regular season if it means Buxton is ready to go come October. I am torn. Like I haven't done enough digging to really like say confidently like I prefer Buxton or Kwan.
Yeah.
I also, as Fabian noted, like I am a little skeptical as to the realisticness.
Yeah, because Buxton has a no trade. There's rumors that he might be willing to, now that the Twins have made it clear they're going to tear it down to the studs, assuming they change Joe Ryan, which they claim they're not going to. But there's reports that if it were to go to a winner, he might be interested. As Fabian said, I think there's some skepticism. Would he actually come to the West Coast? He's an Atlanta guy. And so maybe he would try and stay on the East Coast or go to a team like the Braves or something like that, is where the skepticism comes from. So,
yeah. And I think all that's fair. And so that being said, look, maybe the Dodgers should just go and trade for Stephen Kwan and be done. Call it a day.
Yeah. Wilyer Abreu of the Red Sox, by the way, not a guy I've really heard mentioned as available. I pay attention when Fabian Ardaya comes on our show and just mentions names casually because I tend to not think of him as a guy that just makes this stuff up. So for what it's worth, he didn't say anything about Wilyer Abreu as there being any real connections. He didn't say that out loud, but the Red Sox have a lot of outfielders. If nobody's willing to give them anything for Jarren Duran, then maybe they would take a lot for a guy like Wilyer Abreu, who's not a free agent until 2030, isn't arbitration eligible until 2027, and has been a 5.5 WAR player over the last couple of seasons. So just left-handed outfielder, something to pay attention there. Possibly Wilyer Abreu, an interesting name to keep an eye on. Our guy David chiming in, like to hang out and talk, but the Lakers are on. Love you guys. I'll send pics tomorrow if I get anything special at the Lamplighter. Keep us posted, David.
I do. Yeah, David, I do. I meant to respond to the last few that you've sent us. David's been eating very well per my standards. I'll add the last couple times that he sent us some pictures of his food.
By the way, there was a number of people I could not join from the Dodger Blue family that ate a meal together, and by my recollection, Matt, we got no photos of said meal.
That is true. Scott and Blake did take a picture. If the people want to ask Scott and Blake to share the picture they took, do it. I think you guys would all get a good kick out of it. I will not share it. We didn't. Unfortunately,
what some people ordered?
No.
Okay.
But it's like it's ridiculous and entertaining in its own different way.
Perfect.
No, yeah, we dropped the ball on taking pictures of any sort of food, but there was a lot of steak and different meats. A London broil appetizer. I don't know if you've had something like that. I had never heard of it. Ian, who oversees all of our websites, ordered it for the table, appetizers for the table. But yeah, it was good. We went to Steakhouse in LA. You definitely were missed, and I know you'll be celebrating your own way up in Portland.
I'm going to try. I will be at a steakhouse on Friday night, and I will try my hardest to remember to take pictures. So the place we're going has world famous onion rings, I'm told, by the way. So
ooh.
Yeah, you could do.
You have my interest. At the very least, if you don't tweet one, that's fine, but send a picture to me at least.
You got it. All right, some more content here. Speaking of free agents, there's two guys who played significant roles in the 2025 Dodgers winning a World Series championship. who are currently free agents. Of course, I am talking about Michael Conforto and Michael Conforto. No, I'm not. Just kidding. Miguel Rojas and Kike Hernandez. I'll just frame this question very simply to you, Matt. Are we sure that Miguel Rojas and Kike Hernandez are coming back? The reason I ask is if you look at the current 13-man group on the 26-man roster and where there might be spots here. Now, I'm assuming that the Dodgers are going to carry 13 pitchers plus Shohei Ohtani, which they are allowed to do and nobody else is allowed to do. That's the assumption I'm starting with. That would give them the 9 starters that we all know. Ohtani, Smith, Freddie, Edman, Mookie, Muncy, Teo, Pages. And then I'm going to just reserve that 9th spot for insert outfielder here. Because I'm just believing for the moment that they're going to get somebody new. Whether it's sexy or not sexy, I just don't think it's going to be Alex Call and Ryan Ward. So for now, those are the 9. They've got Dalton Rushing, left-handed hitter, locked in on the bench. I would say Alex Call, right-handed hitter, locked in on the bench. That means there are 2 open spots, Matt. It could be Rojas and Kike Hernandez, which would mean Ha-Seong Kim, Ryan Ward, and Alex Freeland, by my estimation, would be the 3 guys kind of on the outside looking in for these 2 roster spots. Obviously, both of them are right-handed. Rojas turns 37 in February, still grades out well defensively, great whiff and strikeout rates, big locker room guy, not afraid of the moment. The metrics are not kind to him, below average in basically everything except exit velocity, hard hit rate, etc., but has actually been an above average offensive player. Kike, 34 years old, last above average offensive season in the regular season was 2021. He's been a 75 weighted runs created plus guy for the last 4 years. He's a postseason guy. That's all you need to say about Kike. Did have surgery on Friday to repair a torn elbow muscle in his non-throwing arm that was suffered in May. He played through it. He will miss the World Baseball Classic. We don't know how long he's out. So my question is, are we sure that those last 2 spots on the active roster, Matt, are going to Miguel Rojas and Kike Hernandez?
I am not. I think one of the 2 is more assuredly back than the other.
Okay. Is that the younger of the 2 or the older of the 2?
I guess the older, right?
Miguel
Kike's
Rojas? You think
yes.
Rojas is more likely than Kike?
Yes. I think from the standpoint of sort of in the position that Kike was in last October, where he was saying, like, basically saying, hey, like, I just want to be back. Like, kind of, I don't want to go play anywhere else. And I think Kike still holds those same feelings and regard for the Dodgers. I think, though, with Rojas, you can probably get a little more team friendly terms. And so I could see him. I think Rojas out of the 2 is the safer bet.
Okay.
I think there's a decent likelihood that they both are back. But yeah, I mean, if you look at that bench, it's very uninspiring.
Yeah.
And
which was an issue in 2025.
And I am the same person who will sit here and say, like, not that the regular season doesn't matter, because we've been over this. Like, I think winning your division, I think, getting home field advantage, all that stuff is a factor, and there's a benefit to that. And I also have, pounded the door, nonstop that Kike is an October player, and that's why you sign him. So fine. But that kind of group going like over the course of a season, like that's a little bit of a tough sell.
Yeah. I'm with you. And I do feel like we agree that this team is built for the postseason, and that's all that matters, which is why Kike Hernandez keeps signing with the Dodgers, right? And yet the margins have shrunk of late in the regular season. Now there's a lot of pitching injuries. There are a lot of mitigating factors, let's just say, for why the Dodgers maybe struggled as much as they did in the regular season. But it does feel like they need something on that bench. And again, Alex Call is in that group. He's not overly inspiring. He's more of a platoon guy, no power. And so I'm kind of with you that it's hard for me to see both of these guys. Because another way to put it is, like, if both of these guys are back, then you're telling Alex Freeland, a former top 100 prospect who can play all over the infield. You're telling Ha-Seong Kim, a guy who's more of an infielder than an outfielder. Hey, both of you guys are going back to Oklahoma City. Like that's the default position, barring an injury. You're both going back there. Ryan Ward, the outfielder, would also be headed to Oklahoma City. And to me, I'm not saying those guys are dramatically better. I'm not saying, like, if it's Ha-Seong Kim and Alex Freeland, I feel a lot better about this bench. But I as I look at this group, Matt, it does kind of feel like one of these two can be back and the other spot needs to actually be upgraded. There needs to be a free agent that is brought in to sit on the bench who just gives you a little bit more confidence as a bat. I don't know who that is off the top of my head. I think I would differ in that I would probably lean bringing Kike back rather than Rojas simply because of the versatility, simply because he gives you outfield ability, he gives you infield ability, and he still is that guy in the postseason. Now, Rojas just had the biggest hit maybe in Dodgers history, so I'm not saying he's a slouch in the postseason, but I still trust Kike when the big moment comes. And so if I had to choose between these two, I actually think I would pick Kike over Miguel Rojas.
Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, that's definitely, a sound argument. I still like preference wise, I'm probably inclined to agree with you. As the proprietor of Geektober, like I feel like I'm obligated to you know ride that all the way through. I feel like if only one of the two is going to be back, and again, there hasn't been any indication that that's the stance the Dodgers are taking. But if that is what ends up happening, I just something tells me that Rojas is a little bit more of a safer bet in that regard. Look, the reality is they could start the season with that bench of Alex Call, Dalton Rush, and Kike Hernandez, Miguel Rojas, and look to make changes at some point during the season, whether, trading Alex Call in some sort of deal, like if he's just thrown in and then you're figuring out how to replace him after the fact, to the point of Alex Freeland and Ha-Seong Kim. More so with Freeland, it's a little bit of a difficult situation because I get what you're saying, but also if Freeland, let's say the Dodgers only re-signed one of Rojas and Kike, I don't know if Freeland would be the person that they give that bench spot. Like it kind of goes back to the argument of, do you want a prospect of that caliber sitting on your bench playing once, maybe twice a week versus still getting more at bats in AAA? And I know that he's probably getting close to the point of, what Ryan Ward was at, where, hey, there's nothing left to prove at AAA. So this guy either needs to come up or not, figure something out. But I think we're it's still kind of teetering on that seesaw, if you will.
Yeah, I'm with you. It'll be interesting. I think where I ultimately land is the most likely scenario, I still think, is Rojas and Kike Hernandez both coming back. If I had to pick, if you gave me only Rojas, only Kike, neither or both, I think I would pick both as the most likely outcome. But I guess where I ultimately land, Matt, is I'm less confident in that now. After the World Series, I was like, both these guys are locks. What are we even doing? Of course, they're both coming back. But when you do the math and you look at the roster, and I'm with you, it has less to do with Kim and Freeland and more just to do with man, they need somebody on the bench that's going to give them some juice, because it's definitely not going to be these two. So,
I mean, look, maybe it could. Well, Miguel Rojas, I think he's all throughout his career, he's been glove first, right? So it's not a slight to him. I think, was it last year or two? I forgot, last season, 2024 or 2023, he did. Or was it this year that he had his offensive kind of resurgence a little bit?
He was a 110 weighted runs created plus in 24, and he was 100 weighted runs created plus in 25. So those are both good. Kike has been 75 for 4 straight years.
And what I was going to say with Kike, I mean, look, maybe I know he had the eye issue that got the glasses Kike that Scott was on early last year.
I bought in. I was ready for Kike to break out this year.
And I think maybe he could have or would have, if not, he played hurt for the majority, for a significant stretch. So you can make the argument of, hey, he's going to be healthy. You can also make the argument of, well, he's going to be healthy because he's coming off of surgery. And so what can truly be expected in his first season back from an elbow procedure type thing?
It's a great point.
But yeah, I mean, look, and the other argument to this, I saw people commenting, asking, there might not, and you mentioned it, there might not be a clear bench option upgrade out there. And so that's something that I think the Dodgers will factor in as well. It's, think of the David Freese. That was a trade deadline addition that they got. So, those types of guys, it could be, like I said, where you start the season with the 4 guys we named. And then if you're finding that it's not sufficient enough, then you go and get somebody to kind of inject a little bit of life to get you into October.
Are we positive Alex Call is a part of this group?
No.
Just check.
And that's why I said, yeah, I mean, I think if there's a way that, the outfield kind of takes shape in a particular direction and the Dodgers decide they want both Kike and Rojas back and they need to make things work, like I wouldn't fully be surprised if Alex Call is not with the Dodgers.
Let me put it this way. If we were starting from scratch and you could have all of these guys are equally available. Call, Rojas, and Kike Hernandez. Would Call be third on that list for you?
I mean, easily, but also like
I'm just
there's
asking.
like Rojas and Kike have like the sweat equity, right? And Kike especially. I mean, we've seen it in October.
I'm asking eye test. No sweat equity, no feelings here. I just want the straight baseball eye test from you, Moreno.
I mean, yes.
Yeah, I'm with you. So that's what's interesting. He's included because he's under contract and doesn't cost him very much. So it's worth kind of making that distinction. 2026 after the 2026 season. After the 2025 season. So Alex Call is going into his first year of arbitration. So he will be $4 to $5 million less than Kike and Miguel Rojas. Jesus says, Kwan is Luis Arias if he was any good. I prefer Jarren Duran. I think I agree with everything in this super chat here, Matt, that Kwan is just a better version of Luis Arias, and I still prefer Jarren Duran. So there you go. Just noodle bat, as one member of our team has been known to say about Stephen Kwan.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, I think, again, like it comes down to Kwan, though, does bring, like, he doesn't strike out a lot, right? Which is something that people were getting upset with the Dodgers lineup. And so there's value there. There's value, at least in some sense, defensively, even though I know there's been regression maybe the last couple years now type thing. So it would just be about expectation. Like, you're not trading for Stephen Kwan to have him hit like 2024 Teoscar Hernandez, right? Like, that's just not fair. So if you're
hoping for 2024 Miguel Rojas.
Sure. There you go.
I saw some people asking. We are going to talk Gavin Stone and River Ryan. Some good news on the front of these two youngsters, both expected to be ready for spring training and a normal buildup, according to GM Brandon Gomes. Quote, we expect them to have a pretty normal year, whatever a normal year coming off of surgery looks like. Both of these guys are prospects. Neither of them is particularly young. Younger than us. But I joked with Daniel the other day. We were talking about age of some of these guys, and I was like, Yamamoto is younger than like half of the Dodgers pitching prospects at this point. Stone and Ryan among them. Stone, though, remember, 140 innings back in 2024, 3.5 ERA, missed all of 2025, having his entire shoulder repaired. River Ryan, 1.33 ERA in 4 starts in 2024 before having Tommy John surgery himself. So good news here, though, Matt, that both of these guys appear ready for a normal spring training, which I think is huge.
Yeah, definitely. And look, I know like Brandon, he basically sort of, added the caveat himself when he said a normal year. And then he said, well, what could be deemed a normal year after, their first season back from surgery. I don't expect either one of them to be in the opening day rotation by any means. I think they will be organizational depth. And, as the Dodgers need spot starters throughout the season, as we've seen, whether it's for a 2-week stretch, 3-week stretch, or an outing here or there, like, I think they will probably be at the top of the list now. And it's exciting if they can, get back to the levels that they were showing and the talent that they both kind of demonstrated when they were up. And then, the Dodgers also, like, they're going to have some decisions at some point. Like, it'll come sooner rather than later too, with their pitching prospects and rotation depth and all that.
Yeah. And I want to apologize. Gavin Stone is 2 months younger than Yoshinobu Yamamoto. River Ryan, born on the exact same day.
That's pretty funny.
Do you want to play a game real quick here, Matt?
No games, Jeff. This is a serious baseball show here.
Okay. I'm going to give you a player and you have to tell me if you think they are older or younger than Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Well, okay, but Yamamoto's 25.
I don't. There's no hints on this test, Matt.
I need to know Yamamoto's age.
Okay, we'll start. Emmett Sheehan.
He's older.
Younger. 15 months younger than Yamamoto.
I regretted it as soon as I said it.
I like this. Kyle Hurt.
He's older.
Older than Yamamoto. Landon Knack.
Also older.
Older than Yamamoto. Very good. Ben Kasparius.
Younger?
6 months younger than Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Just think about that. We think about Ben Casparis as a child. Yamamoto is 6 months older than the man. Jack Dreyer.
He's younger.
6 months younger. Nick Frasso.
Older?
2 months younger than Yamamoto. Last one.
Okay.
Everybody's favorite, Bobby Miller.
Older.
8 months younger than Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I mean, but just think about this. Take Sheehan out of this group. Kyle Hurt, Landon Knack, River Ryan, Gavin Stone, Ben Casparis, Jack Dreyer, Nick Frasso, Bobby Miller. All of those guys are basically the exact same age as Yoshinobu Yamamoto. That's insane. And that says way more about Yamamoto than these guys. But, like, that's insane.
Yeah.
So,
wait, so what's Yamamoto's age? Do you have it with you?
26? 27.
Okay. Oh. See, so that that might have actually messed me. I might have gone the other way for a lot of my correct answers. So it was a good thing I didn't know that.
There you go. Yeah, he's 27. But him and River Ryan, exact same birthday. There's your fun fact of the day. I always used to tell people, so my birthday, it's unimportant exactly which day it is. It's coming up very soon. It's coming up very soon. And the only reason my birthday is famous is because there was a point in which 3 Dodgers on the active roster all had my birthday. I share a birthday with Justin Turner, with Gavin Lux, and with Ross Stripling. All 3 of them not here anymore.
Jeff, you tried to be sly about when your birthday is, then you named, like, now everybody's going to go Google these guys. They're going to see when the birthday is, and then they're going to know when yours is.
It's true. For what it's worth, I am younger than Justin Turner, in case people are wondering, and older than Ross Stripling, and definitely older than Gavin Lux, in case you were wondering. Speaking of Gavin Lux, Freddie Freeman doing the worm at his birthday. A bunch of Dodgers featured there. Dave Roberts was in the video. So I that was the only thing I've seen. Did you catch any? Ben Rortvedt was what, an usher? I think we decided he was going to be a groomsman, but like they couldn't be positive if he was going to be there or something. So I think he was a groomsman. They grew up together.
Yeah, I saw Steve. I think it was Steven Nelson who tweeted about that, saying Rortvedt was going to be a groomsman, but something about odd and even numbers with bridal parties.
Like you got to have the same number of groomsmen as you have as bridesmaids in some people's estimation.
I agree. Well, I do agree with that. But so if I wasn't sure if it was that or if it was like they had like 6 pairings and they didn't want to do 7 because like something with, and there it is with 6. Man, these kids have gotten into my head subconsciously, and I thought it was more of like that, where it's like you either do 4 pairings or instead of 5 because there was some sort of like bad juju or something. But yes, I do agree. Like there need to be like equal parent. That was something that when my wife and I got married. Do
you want to hear a fun fact about me that I am not at all ashamed of?
Okay.
I forget the exact number, which is a second fun fact, but we had like, I think I had 11 groomsmen at my wedding.
Oh, geez.
It was an outrageous number.
That's way too many.
That's what people say. Here's my thought process. I'm just a generous human being, first of all. But second of all, my thing is like, if somebody asked you, hey, Matt, would you be a groomsman in my wedding? How would that make you feel?
Jeff, I'm going to have to answer this off air.
You would feel good, depending on the person.
Sure.
You'd be like, you know what? That's an honor. I appreciate you thinking. So I was like, why would I limit this number? I've got 11 people I want to ask. Why would I make 4 of these people question their friendship with me? It doesn't matter to me. It's my friends. It's my wedding. I do whatever I want. So that's what I got.
Counter argument is I feel like it can put people in a difficult position of, oh man, like I can't say no. Now I need to also commit to, like, maybe it adds stress to their life type thing. So I get where you're coming from.
If somebody asked me to be in their wedding, there's no stress added to my life. I've never been, I'll say this. I've never been asked to be in a wedding I didn't want to be in.
You're lucky.
I'm lucky. There you go. Fair enough. I will ask no follow-up questions. So there you go. Okay. Let's get to one more piece of news here. Rule 5 draft coming up at the winter meetings. And the Dodgers, today was the deadline to protect any of their Rule 5 eligible players from the Rule 5 draft. They chose one, Ronan Kopp. I would like to take a small victory lap because, as I said on our show last night, this was the guy I thought they were going to protect. Eventually, I came around to predicting a second reliever would get protected, so I went 1 for 2. But my gut instinct, I want to just make the point, was perfect. Kopp was not the highest rated prospect that was eligible to be protected in this situation, but he's a lefty. He's 23 years old. He throws upwards of 99 to 100 miles an hour. He strikes out over 14 guys per 9 innings in AAA last year. Funky delivery. I just think you have a left-handed reliever who's 6'7", 250 pounds. There's another one for you. And who throws almost 100 from the left side. That's just an auto protect for me. So Ronan Kopp has been protected. Jose Rodriguez, the right-handed reliever, was not protected. Peter Hubeck, starter, kind of the highest rated guy. We're talking like 25th in the organization, most places, was not protected either.
Yeah, and a lot of those names, I'll do a shameless plug and tease for us. If you weren't familiar with some of the prospects Jeff named right now, him and Justin Lorber recorded a video on this, and it's a little bit, I don't want to call our stuff old, but obviously it was for before Rule 5 decisions were due, but you can go back and see maybe guys who now might end up getting picked because they weren't protected. So that is on our YouTube channel, so make sure you check that out. But yeah, I agree with you, and that's what I was going to say is the Kopp decision strikes me as this is that you nerds in baseball love stuff, and it seems like he has some of that, and so you take your chances protecting him and figuring out the rest later.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, last year it was Jack Dreyer. Nobody had heard of him. He got protected. He became like their best relief pitcher. So as Justin says in that video, relievers are the guys most likely to get protected and taken. So I would just keep an eye on Peter Hubeck, Jose Rodriguez, and maybe Noah Miller, who's like a shortstop that can't hit a lick, but he's a great defensive shortstop. Those would be the three guys if anybody were to get taken in the draft. Those would be the three names, but that's not until the winter meetings, which are what? A couple weeks away? It's after Thanksgiving, right?
Yes, it is in early December. I forget if it starts. Let me see if I pull up the calendar here. It's always, I believe it would be December 7th, which is a Sunday, and it's that week. Yeah, it is that because then the Rule 5 draft, I believe, is the 10th or the 11th.
There you go. There you go. So keep an eye on that. A few guys, again, it's not common that people get taken in this draft, but Jose Rodriguez, right-handed reliever who throws like 100 miles an hour, I could see him being a guy to keep an eye on. So with that, let's get to some questions, all caps questions. Throw those in the chat, and we will answer a bunch of these before we sign off for the night. Real quick, as we do that, Matt, we've got we were at some pretty cool events that we had the privilege of being at over the last few days. Justin Turner's benefit golf tournament, Sherwood Country Club. I was going to say my old stomping grounds because I grew up like 25 minutes away from there, and that would have sounded super pretentious if I said my old stomping grounds, Sherwood. Never been to Sherwood, for the record. And then there was
I dropped your name at Sherwood Country Club, and they said, "Oh yeah, Jeff, he has his tab set up. He flies in, he lands his jet over there, and then he takes off after a day of golfing." So they seem to know all about you, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, my spot is right in between Will Smith and Wayne Gretzky, to be fair, but I tried to keep that on the down low for when I'm out there. But we were there, and then we were also at a Thanksgiving event. So tell us a little bit more.
So, well, I will say when you were asking me about the events we've been at, I thought you wanted my experience at the Sabrina Carpenter concert last night.
That's coming next.
Okay.
We don't have one of those videos posted on our YouTube page, do we?
No, we don't. I do. Maybe we should do a short video that we could post. Yeah. So I was at Sherwood, as you mentioned, for Justin Turner's golf tournament that he hosts every year. It's the 9th year they've now done it to support, obviously, the Justin Turner Foundation and all their different initiatives. It's a big fundraising event, and he in the video, kind of similar to other years that we've had a chance to catch up with him since he's moved on from the Dodgers, you could tell, obviously, being from Southern California, like being active in the community here, the greater LA area is still important to him and his wife Courtney, and that's what this event was about, fundraising so that they can continue to stock the Justin Turner Foundation food bank at the Dream Center and all the other different initiatives that they do. The other event so that our interview with Justin Turner, and he did also discuss some interesting baseball stuff of why he still wants to continue playing at this point in his career, possibly retiring with the Dodgers, and he had some nice words about Clayton Kershaw as well. Excuse me. We weren't at the Dream Center today, but we did get the Dodgers sent out media video, and so Will Klein and some former players, Billy Ashley, Kenny Landreau, and Dennis Powell, were with the Dodgers passing out turkeys to families in kind of a drive-through event. So that's great. The Dodgers do it every year. They get they're always active in the community throughout a season, and especially so around Thanksgiving. And then coming up on Thursday, Mookie Betts and the Los Angeles Dodgers Foundation are also going to be doing a Thanksgiving kind of turkey giveaway at, I believe, Algin Sutton Recreation Center.
Okay, there you go. Shout out to all of those things. Let's get to some questions. So you can check out those videos on the Dodger Blue 1958 YouTube page and remind me in a few minutes, and we'll get to Sabrina Carpenter thoughts. Joseph asks, since we're talking birthdays, who is the biggest celebrity you have a birthday with? Holy smokes. LeBron, Tiger Woods,
That's awesome.
and Sandy Koufax. That's
a big one.
Incredible. Do you know, Matt, who the most famous person that shares your birthday is? What's your birthday? I'll punch it in.
It is October 15th.
Okay.
I feel there is someone.
Nietzsche. So there you go. Congratulations.
No, that's not.
Emerald Lagasse, Genuine, Keisha Cole. I don't know. This looks like kind of a dud of a list. I'm going to be honest here, Matt.
All right. Well, Jeff, my takeaway from that is that I am at the top of the list of October 15th birthdays. So works for me. I thought that there was somebody. No, there isn't an athlete on there. I thought that there was at least an athlete that I shared it with, but maybe
Anthony
not. Look,
Joshua?
No. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I had it wrong. I'm at the top of the list, Jeff. We could leave it there.
I think it's Emerald Lagasse. That's brutal. I mean, mine is like marginally better. Yeah, Genuine, Keisha Cole, Bailey Madison. I don't know who that is.
I mean, it's a respectable group of people.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think I'd go Nietzsche, however you say it. Mine is not a whole lot better. Miley Cyrus, most famous person that I share a birthday with.
She's pretty big. Like she's big.
Pretty famous.
Yeah.
Franklin Pierce, president. There you go. 14th president of the United States. Check that out. Billy the Kid, apparently. I don't know. Sometimes I look at these lists and I'm like, am I supposed to know who these people are? So that's all I got. Yeah, some internet celebrity and Justin Turner and Gavin Lux. So there you go.
We're not beating Joseph is the takeaway from that.
Not close. Ederico asks, which of the outfield free agents being talked about here in DodgerHeads you guys think gets signed first and at what price? So free agent outfielders, Bellinger, Kyle Tucker, obviously.
We talked about anybody. We haven't. I mean, Grisham was sort of one of them, but he took the qualifying offer.
Were you surprised? I couldn't believe they gave him the qualifying offer. I would have been surprised if he didn't accept it. That was a ton of money.
Yeah, I was surprised that it was extended to him a little bit. I mean, I think it's sort of like maybe the Yankees overpaying a little bit, but it was like within a range of like, hey, it makes sense if he's willing to take it, like to let's just solidify this for one more year and then kick the can down the road.
Harrison Bader, the third free agent outfielder that we've talked about on our show. I still think it's going to be Tucker because it tends to be they wait for the big guy to sign, and then Cody Bellinger's agent just hopes everybody gets desperate for the next guy. So I would guess Kyle Tucker, I think.
I'll go Bader because I think like his market, I don't know, is significantly going to be impacted by Tucker and or Bellinger maybe a little bit, but I think Bader maybe tries to sneak his deal in and just get it done.
Okay. Oh, here you go. I figured out the athlete that shares a birthday with you. Jack Flaherty.
There we go.
You're thinking of?
Yes, that's right.
Mesut Ozil, famous soccer player. Guessing you weren't thinking of him.
Not
oh my gosh. Well, you would hate this guy, but one of my favorite UCLA basketball players of all time. Aaron Aflalo.
No, I was going to say Farmar.
I do love Farmar. Love Jordan Farmar. Asks, will LA address the two-hole situation behind Ohtani? Smith won a World Series as a two-hole, but catcher all season is demanding. Also, no league average or below league average hitter at the top three, please. Thoughts? Depends on what you think Mookie Betts is going to do. And he was an 800 OPS guy over the second half of the season last year. So if you believe in that, then you're not going to have any issues with him in the two holes where I'm at.
Yeah, we're actually sorry to go back really quick. We're getting Eden's telling it. Gavin Stone and Teoscar Hernandez are also October 15th.
Wow.
So so your AI, that was probably AI that was steering you astray. So I knew that there were some athletes that
so you're up to two. You're 2/3 of the way to my November 23rd record.
Back to this question. I mean, look, I think I am taking my chances on Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman being Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman next season. Yeah. And if we get another repeat of kind of what we saw in the first 65%, whatever it ended up being of this year, then, maybe reevaluate at that point. But those are your top 3 horses, for lack of a better term, and you leave them as such.
I could see a world where Will Smith gets moved up. I just think they're going to let Mookie have a little bit of rope before they do that.
Yes.
We got a super chat here from David. Don't disclose personal information on YouTube. It's a new scam. Well,
yeah, I haven't seen this one specifically. This does remind me, though. We did get people asking us, kind of messaging us on Instagram, that there was an account and or 2 accounts presenting themselves as being DodgerBlue.com and asking people for personal information.
Jeez.
That was not us. We won't do something like that. When we do contests and stuff like that, we have you guys reach out to us. So I hope it didn't seem like anybody got scammed out of anything, but definitely we reported those accounts. We asked the people who sent us the information to report them as well. So we do apologize if you get, messages like that. I can't say it enough. Like if it's not really coming from this show, if you're not emailing us, like, we won't randomly reach out to you on Instagram saying, hey, send us your information for this, that, and the other.
Yeah. Eden wants to know, Jeff, can you do the annual Andrew Jones rant? We'll save it. Voting, I think, is due by the end of the year, announced in January. So we've got time, but I can assure you. And if this man ever gets voted into the Hall of Fame, it will be louder and longer than ever. TQT asks, Eno Saris mentioned that the Dodgers looked old in the World Series despite winning. Are you worried at all about the age of the roster? I will say this is, I would say, moderately concerning to me. I'm not worried about Shohei Ohtani. Mookie Betts clearly does not look like he's peak Mookie Betts, although, again, I still believe he can be very, very good. Freddie Freeman, I would put in the same category. I don't think we're going to see peak Freddie Freeman, although he played with a bum ankle for most of this past season as well. So maybe he's got more in the tank than we're giving him credit for. I think Will Smith is still entering the prime of his career. Max Muncy on the tail end. Teoscar Hernandez, who knows? Page's ascending. So, like, I just, when I look at some of the key guys, Matt, I'm like, well, I'm not worried about Freddie Freeman. I'm not worried about Shohei Ohtani. I'm not worried about Will Smith. So I don't know. It's moderately concerning to me, but it's not like, oh my gosh, this whole thing's going to come crumbling down in 2026 either.
Yeah, I get the concern with this. And look, Clayton Kershaw on Mookie Betts' podcast that night that the Dodgers had their World Series celebration did say that, that 18-inning game sort of took a lot out of the Dodgers. And it was the start of, playing 3 games in a row without an off day, where in the postseason, you typically get the one, kind of break for travel and things of that nature. It obviously changes for the NLCS and World Series because those 3 middle games are always in a row without a day off. But the Dodgers basically played 4 games in 3 days, right? Is an easy way to sum that up. And sure, given the age of some of the players on the roster, like it did become a factor. I think, as you mentioned, and I said it throughout the season, like, just look, as much as Freddie Freeman stayed in the lineup for the most part, looking at him kind of moving laterally, like, he seemed to, in my opinion, still be affected by his ankle that he had surgery on. So I'm in aligned with you. I'm not overly concerned by this, and I don't like to be the person that says, if this happened, then that type thing. But again, like, truly, if the Dodgers have, 3 or 4 more hits in the World Series type thing, they win that. They win that in 5. It doesn't go 7, and we're having a completely different conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. Okay, let's fire through some of these real quick. Scooter Britter asks, was there ever any linking that the Dodgers are interested in Duran, or all speculation predictions, since it makes sense for both? The latter, for sure. That was just me listening to Red Sox people say this is what they need, and me thinking like, oh, that's what the Dodgers have a lot of. So, and a
little bit of linking, like reporting interest at the trade deadline more so kind of carry over from that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thomas asks, is Wilyer Abreu an option? Just watch his defensive plays. Cannon, rocket of an arm, 26, Gold Glover winner, power bat. Rather have him than Duran, or could we get both? I don't think they're going to trade both, but again, Fabian Ardaya mentioned his name. I don't think the Red Sox want to trade him, but they do have too many outfielders. So if nobody wants Duran, stay tuned. Kenneth asks, do you see the Dodgers getting Brendan Donovan? He feels like a very Dodgers-y player to me. Utility guy, can play outfield. Literally a Tommy Edman clone, it feels like, in many ways. I think it would be solid. I don't think it's like a needle mover. So I would say unlikely, but would not be surprising to me. And is that where you're at?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he's probably not at the top of the list, but if it makes sense from cost and fit standpoint, then it wouldn't be a shock at all.
BMR says requesting a birthday live stream from you. It's on. I'm planning on doing one Sunday night, so stay tuned. Stay tuned. Ella Shiva asks, does Blake still work with us? He does.
Yeah, I know we've gotten a lot of questions about Blake since look, when I was traveling and covering games at the stadium and on the road, like Blake then is needing to do a lot of the behind the scenes work for the website. Blake is very much still around, and we'll get him on back on these shows here soon.
Yeah. Roberto says, I use my real name on all baseball podcasts, but Moral from Foul Territory follower was using my name and same picture. That was infuriating. That sucks. That sucks. Sorry to hear that. Megan asks, when are you guys planning on changing the opening? So many clips to choose from.
That is part of our problem.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. We will have it before opening day. That is our commitment to you. Hopefully sooner, but we're working on it. Dong wants to know, was I talking about Walla Walla onion rings earlier? I was not. I was a steakhouse in Portland that's famous that I will be visiting on Friday. They apparently have world famous onion rings. So stay tuned for pictures and details. Asks, Matt, food question. Best cuisine for you, in your opinion, and your favorite spicy go-to food. So favorite cuisine and favorite spicy food.
Well, it's asking for best cuisine.
Best cuisine. Sorry.
I feel like, that's hard. Like, I will have to get, like, my favorite probably is Italian food.
Okay.
So
Fettuccine Alfredo coming to this man next Thursday.
Favorite spicy food. I mean, I enjoy like salsas for a burrito, for tacos, for like chips and stuff like that. So I don't like
Do you do like habanero? Like, are you a really spicy salsa guy?
I can, but I don't want it to be like, this is burning my mouth for no reason. Like, it still needs to have like some flavor to it, not just my mouth is on fire and I don't know what this tastes like.
My favorite cuisine is Indian food. Like, really good Indian food is top of the pyramid as far as I'm concerned. Favorite spicy go-to food. I love like hot chicken sandwiches. I love buffalo wings. I would say those are like the two things that I normally am interested in getting pretty much as spicy as possible. And when I say possible, as spicy as possible for me, I'm not going like atomic levels, but I like some spice when it comes to chicken, I guess.
I will say I've tried getting into like the hot chicken craze stuff, and it hasn't done it for me. I don't know why.
I'm just going to say it because this just feeds your just false narratives about me and cheese.
Here we go.
So here we go. I went to Chick-fil-A today. Are you a Chick-fil-A guy?
I had Chick-fil-A today as well. So yes. Wow.
What'd you order?
I am on their chicken strips have
that's right.
Hooked me recently. Before that, yes, I was
put them in the mac and cheese or something. What's your nonsense?
No. So this is these are like their actual like breaded chicken strips that I've been getting recently. Those are very good. What you're asking me about is grilled chicken that you chop up and put in their kale salad and mix with some like the salad dressing and I believe buffalo sauce.
Okay.
Also very good.
Stay tuned. Well, I got the spicy chicken deluxe sandwich today, which comes with cheese on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I didn't taste at any point throughout the entire course of eating this sandwich, Matt? The cheese. Couldn't taste it.
It probably wasn't on there.
I like pepper jack, but there's like you can't taste it. Have you had the sandwich?
Yes, I have.
And you can taste it?
Yes, but remember, I'm a super taster, so I taste things more intensely than the average person.
I did wonder if I'm whatever the opposite of that is, and I'm like child taster or something like that. Again, I love cheese, love pepper jack cheese. Didn't ask for the sandwich to come without the cheese. I just remember eating it and I was like, why? I can't taste it. I can't taste it.
Here, so we can end on this hot take. And maybe people will argue in the comments and we'll come back and check.
Great.
Chicken sandwiches at Chick-fil-A are overrated.
Do you have a better chicken sandwich that you prefer?
I used to say, so Jack in the Box had a good spicy chicken sandwich, I thought. They changed it within the last 2, 3, maybe 4 years. And so it's not good anymore. But I just think at Chick-fil-A, like their chicken sandwiches are bottom of the list for me.
Do you like Dave's Hot Chicken? Have you been there?
I think I've had it once. I just, like I was saying, like just that hot chicken, like the flavor, that style, that concept, like just doesn't resonate with me for some reason.
Okay. Popeye's chicken sandwich?
Haven't had it.
Oh, Popeye's chicken sandwich is fantastic. I would put it ahead of Chick-fil-A. I think Chick-fil-A is very good. So I'm going to disagree with you there. but it's not like in and out tier. So as far as
I was speaking of it, and I was pleasantly surprised to see Fabian say an Arizona native, not to out him, but an Arizona native. I wasn't sure how that was going to go.
Yeah,
because they do have Whataburgers in Arizona.
it's disgusting.
But I was glad to
3x3
see him
too.
say,
He's just not messing around with the 3x3.
I mean, yeah, that's might as well.
It's good for me. Okay, finish us up. Sabrina Carpenter, you went to a concert?
Oh yeah.
Did you buy a t-shirt?
Yeah, I did not buy a t-shirt. No. It was entertaining. I mean, it was fine. Like she's got some catchy songs. It was fun.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's all we're getting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like it was good. It was entertaining. It wasn't like the best concert I have been to by any means. It definitely wasn't the worst. It was nice.
Okay. Well, there you go. Sabrina Carpenter concert, quote, nice, according to sources. Everyone, we appreciate you hopping in with us here on Dodger Heads, presented by DodgerBlue.com. As we mentioned, a bunch of stuff on our YouTube page to get you caught up on some recent Dodgers events, as well as if you want to learn more about Ronan Kopp, who they protected, as well as some other guys they decided not to. Justin Norber and I did a huge breakdown that posted this morning as well. As always, DodgerBlue.com, your source for all of the latest news, notes, rumors. If you don't want to wait until our next Dodger Heads show, of course, the Dodger Blue app as well would be a great place to go. If you're a podcast person, Apple, Spotify, Google, check out the Dodger Heads podcast, rate and review. We would greatly appreciate it. Anything else we need to plug, Matt?
No, that was it. We appreciate everybody continuing to tune in with us as we keep our Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday schedule.
Yeah, and shout out to Homage again for the gear.
Yes.
Cool sweatshirt, super comfortable. Go check it out, HOMAGE.com. Link in the description below. That is Matt. I am Jeff, folks. Enjoy the rest of your night. As always, go Dodgers. And yes, like the sweatshirt says, still champs.